Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I'm your Fanatic and host, George Bueller. It is a pleasure to be with you all once again. Of course, I got to give my wife some props here. This is one of my birthday presents here, my Fight Milk sweatshirt here. 4 bodyguards, by bodyguards. Caw-caw! All right. And of course, I cannot do this show here without my Mac to my Charlie here, because I'm a wild card, bitches. This is yeah, that's right. You get to be the bulky muscular bodyguard to the wild card here. So
that is fine. I do have my own set of Project Badass videos, and I do plan on coming out in a couple of years. So
do you have a self-made exercise bike though?
I can work on that. I do have a leather jacket coated in firecrackers, though.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you El Rey is with us this evening here.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
you are welcome. You are welcome. Hey, yeah, the new name. What's up, V? V, the Grindhouse aficionado. I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You want to talk about somebody who is jazzed about tonight's subject? Let's talk about how V is just like he is jazzed about Grindhouse. Let me tell you what. Here.
Oh man, I mean, it's a hell of a movie to be jazzed about too.
It really is. Yeah. Of course, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about our experiences with seeing it and the kind of the legacy of the movie and all that stuff. Breaking all that kind of stuff, good stuff down. But yeah, good to have you with us, V here, and of course, Diamond Dave Mattingly here. Yes, sir.
The first rule of Fight Milk Club is you not cry over Fight Milk. I love it.
Well, according to the people who consume Fight Milk, which are UFC fighters, they use it to cut weight because basically it makes you violently ill. Apparently, so yes. So apparently, you shouldn't drink Fight Milk.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, it's made by Charlie, and you
don't want to ingest anything that Charlie makes. Yeah, not at all. You actually probably like Charlie is a walking biohazard. but he does, I do love episodes like Charlie Work, where you actually see like the benefit that he gives to the group.
My god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
We could do a whole episode on It's Always Sunny.
Yes, we could. Yeah. We could do a whole week's worth here.
Oh, absolutely.
And Bradley, there we go.
Me liking Grindhouse movies.
Yeah, the gang is all here. I love it. Nice. Yeah, we're talking about one specific Grindhouse movie, the Grindhouse movie. Well, we'll talk about that one in just a little bit here. But of course, we do have some comic book reviews here. Do you have anything to review this week, sir?
Or? No, I have been slogging through one of the. It has been a very difficult book to get through, so I have not exactly been motivated to finish it. And I'm not going to slam it. I won't say the title of it or anything because I'd rather talk about books that I enjoy as opposed to like books that are painful. But yeah, normally I'd even quit. I'd even stop reading this one, but it is like kind of integral to a series. So, but yeah.
Oh, I think if he says, we can't see him, but he's giving you Wolfpack. There you go. There you
go. Yes.
Too sweet. Too sweet. I love it. Oh, I love it here. All right. So, and yes, I picked up all the books at the same time here.
You did that last week too at first, and then like you tracked back. I noticed.
Yeah. See, now you guys are making me feel self-conscious about picking up books. Not really, but no, it's hilarious.
Right.
Well, I got a couple of Marvel titles here, and I've got a DC and an indie here, so I got a couple here. But
Okay.
first one here, this has been a really, really fun storyline here. I've really enjoyed the Jed McKay run of Avengers, but in particular, starting in issue 22, and this is issue number 23 here, the Black Cat and Kang have been teaming up to basically pull a heist on the Collector to steal a certain item, and they're essentially doing it right out underneath the Avengers' noses. But it is a fun heist book. It's like the team up you never thought, but like I really like them. Like I said, Kang and Black Cat, and Cat's literally doing. She's not, there is a specific reason I don't want to give it away of why she's doing this heist, but also at the same time, she's having a lot of fun doing it. And she's like, I kind of just want to do it to see the look on Tony's face.
Just for the sport. I can dig that.
Yeah. So, but there is a very specific reason of why she's doing it. But yeah, so like I said, the storyline started in issue 22. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This week's issue of the Ultimates, number 9 here, introduces us to the Ultimate Universe's Luke Cage.
Ooh.
And of course, this is a completely new Ultimate Universe, so we're having a lot of characters being changed, rewritten, whatever else. There is a very good reason. As great of a character as Luke Cage is in the traditional MCU, holy crap, they got this one right. Because basically, the whole gimmick is with this new Ultimate Universe is that the maker, who is the evil Reed Richards of the previous Ultimate Universe, has rebuilt this new one in his own image. And in doing so, the villains are running the show and the superheroes, most of them either have never existed, they missed their chance to be heroes, or they've been outright killed just to avoid the problem entirely.
Yeah.
So in doing so, like Spider-Man has become Spider-Man, but he's an adult. He wasn't a child or whatever else. Luke Cage was basically wrongfully imprisoned for reasons he didn't even know what he did. So basically because, again, the maker and his prison system's like, yeah, we need to put this guy in prison.
Right. Trying to just take him off the board completely.
Exactly. So he was put in prison as a teenager. And so since then, he's basically been, working out, reading, educating himself, whatever else, not necessarily succumbing to being the violence, or letting that take over him and whatever else. And then basically once he is essentially given his powers by a young Tony Stark, who's kind of trying to fix the errors the makers had let happen, essentially.
Right.
When that happens, basically Luke now has his unbreakable skin, he has his super strength, but he now becomes like essentially a freedom fighter within the prison system, essentially forming an army within the prisoners against the maker.
Okay.
Yeah, so instead of running around playing a superhero, he basically goes from prison to prison to prison, forming an army.
Yeah, that is cool. See, I like this take on the Ultimates because it's like at the end of the day, the characters that like the makers stopped from getting powers are still heroes. Like they've still got that drive. Like they're just because they don't have powers doesn't mean that they're not altruistic or not. Or don't. Yeah.
And there's been one exception so far with the Ultimates, and that was Hawkeye, because Clinton Barton was offered, basically, oh, hey, here's the chance to become, this and this and this, and here's the costume, here's the gear, and all that kind of stuff, and he turned it down. But then a young Native American woman found out about this and basically stole his gear and took the mantle herself.
Oh.
And is basically a better Hawkeye than Clint is. So basically, Tony recruited her instead. So
okay.
Yeah. And instead of course, Bruce Banner is part of the villain crew. He is still a Hulk, but he basically has like, imagine the worst combination of the smart Hulk and the gray Hulk.
Yeah.
he's a creep. He is completely intelligent and in charge of all of his facilities mentally and everything like that. Much more in charge of his emotional outbursts and his anger and his rage, but he has the strength, the savagery of the Gray Hulk.
Yeah.
So he's even more dangerous. They, instead of getting him to be a hero, they find this whole Samoan island culture that basically was irradiated with gamma radiation, unbeknownst to Bruce. And so one of them basically became, while others became sick, one of them became a Hulk, and she's kind of been like their folk hero. So you've basically got this Islander woman who's now their Hulk, or the She-Hulk, shall we say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, we got some more comments in here. One from V here saying, Seth, are you ready? We have a no surprise comic this week.
I think V is referring to the one DC book being a Batman book.
You know, I'm gonna love my Batman, and y'all are just gonna have to do it.
I'm not shaming you on the Batman love. It's just that DC, man, not a week goes by that DC does not miss the opportunity to have some kind of Batman book come out, if not multiple.
Amen to that. Yes, there were 2 Batman books this week. There were the regular series, and then the one I'm going to talk about here. And then next week, I believe we have a new issue of Absolute Batman. So we may be talking about that one next week. Oh, and Dave's on here saying that and Tony Stark beats up a space baby while dressed up as Captain America. Yes, you've read the same issue, sir. Yes, beats up a space baby while okay. Yeah.
That is one of those sentences that are just like, huh, okay, and then your confirmation that it's like, nope, that's what happened. It's like, well,
that's exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So one of the villains basically looks like a giant floating space baby, and his all has mental abilities and stuff like that. And basically, he grants your greatest desire as something kind of distract you or something to, like, kind of enchant you, so to speak, so you're not fighting. And yeah, apparently Tony's greatest desire is to be Captain America, but he still has his mustache. So basically, imagine Captain America with a big Tony Stark mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, this was a delightful issue, and yes, and good old Diamond Dave, the makers sort of turned the Ultimate Universe into the Wanted Universe. Yes, definitely so.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. The villains are in charge. Yeah, I like that here. Is the Native woman a Mohican? I can't remember what tribe she's a part of.
Yeah, might be the last one though, if she is a Mohican.
See, I knew you guys were going for that.
Look, when you lob them, it's slow pitch softball. Yeah,
it was right there. I know. I know.
The only thing that I'm regretful that I wasn't able to do is the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Squanto. When TV's Frank realized that his ticket for Squanto was 3 months outdated. A reference to the classic film Squanto, A Warrior's Tale. It is not a classic film by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it is not. But oh God, TV's Frank. Oh. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Bradley's Anderson. I don't know if y'all have know this already, but a company called Ahoy Comics been any Toxic Avenger comic. Yeah, I'm very aware of the Toxic Avenger book. The covers are great. There's some funny covers. I will say, though, the interior art of the book is sort of distracting, and I'm one of those kind of guys, like, if the art is bad or if I don't like it, it can take away from the book. And having said that, though, I still read the book, and I'm like, I was expecting some more gags, some more, jokes. It's like, it's just not hitting for me. I don't know. I mean, it's hitting for other people because there's other folks who are buying it. So
Bradley's enjoying it apparently. So
y'all don't need me to like it, but yeah, I have read it. I'm like, yeah, it's like, but yeah, there are some hilarious covers. Like I know the first issue, there's a variant cover that does like a Apocalypse Now, where Martin Sheen's coming out of the water, sort of thing like that. It does one of those. There's another one, I think it was like the second or third issue, where there's a variant cover where Toxie is basically doing the thing where he's like bending over, then he's like looking from underneath his legs, looking like he's basically gonna like eat his own groceries. So I just like, you know what? That's a funny cover, and Toxie's got a booty on him. So I'm just saying, yeah.
Man, what happened to that Toxic Avenger remake with Peter Dinklage?
Coming out in August. I read an article.
All
yes. Basically, apparently there was some sort of issue with release or distribution. I don't know, some kind of BS with that. And so somebody else grabbed it, and it's coming out in August.
Okay, because that's been done since like 23, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's been over a year that it's been ready to go.
Yeah,
so,
jeez.
Yeah, but I read an article this because, matter of fact, Tommy said something in the shop. He's like, "Oh, Toxie's coming out this year." I was like, "Yes, I saw that coming out in August." So
I can't remember. Time, yeah.
It's like towards the end of the month or something like that. Maybe I can't remember exactly when, but yeah. So I know. Finally, it's like I just want to see this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm very curious about it. It's got a very interesting cast to it. I'm like,
right.
I got a case of want to see it. Let's do it. All right. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for this comic book review here.
The no prize book. Batman Off-World. Okay.
This is issue 6. This is the final issue of the 6-issue miniseries, written by Jason Aaron. And this has been a fun book. Great art in this one as well. Doug Mankey has been doing this. Basically, it's it's early in Batman's career. The story starts off with somehow this space alien comes to Earth and gangsters hire him to be a muscle man. Batman tries to beat him up. Batman gets his butt kicked. He finds out where this alien comes from, what galaxy he's from, what planet, sort of thing like that. And literally Batman goes to that. He makes his own spaceship, goes to the galaxy, and is like, I'm going to learn how to beat up this particular alien. And he gets embroiled in this crazy adventure, basically going after space gangsters, essentially, and taking down their organization from within, and basically learning how to be a bit more of a badass.
I love that the premise starts off that he has to become Goku from Dragon Ball Z to learn how to beat Vegeta.
Yeah.
Like that is that. Yeah, that it's Batman Dragon Ball is what that comic book should be titled. Because
it's very appropriate. Yes, it is Batman Dragon Ball, because in this issue, Batman takes care of the gangsters, comes back to Earth, and who does he go to seek out? The alien who beat him up in the first issue. And he knows the proper sayings to the proper swears or the proper taunts to this guy to get him angry and fighting. And then of course he knows where all the pressure points are, nerve endings, and knows basically where to hit and kick and punch. And then there you go. But it was a fun story. Like I said, it's still, you got young Batman still kind of learning things. He's not the perfect Batman, and we know from modern day and stuff like that. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun. And then the ending is really cool too. It kind of passes on the legacy of Batman, even in the galactic outer reaches where Bruce Wayne isn't,
okay,
sort of thing like that. So yeah, it's kind of another storyline too, where you get we've had multiple storylines, even the Pattinson Batman movie, where you get a young Batman who's craving vengeance and then realizes there's a difference between vengeance and justice. And by the end of the story, we are seeing the Batman who wants justice, not vengeance. So
okay,
very similar kind of turnaround there. So and V says, technically the premise starts with he builds his own spaceship, which is already okay, wow. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it's a one-way ticket spaceship too. He figured I'll get back some way I can, but this is going to be a one-way rocket to take me to this place, out in the far reaches of the galaxy. And Alfred's literally you're doing what?
Okay, so then I have to amend my previous analogy. It's not Goku versus Vegeta. It would be when Goku went to Namek to fight Freeze, or one of the Freezes, I believe. If I'm remembering my Dragon Ball lore. Because originally, Goku had to die and he went to heaven to train.
Okay.
And then, Yeah, that whole series, all it is just Goku going, like, he gets his butt kicked, and then he goes and trains, and then he comes back and beats up everybody.
I dig it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that tracks, man. I had some roommates that were way into Dragon Ball when it first hit the States. So like when like everybody's just getting the tapes and stuff like that. And so I watched a little bit of it. I'm like, okay, so this whole episode of this dude's talking to the guy he's about to fight, but all the dude is talking. And then the next episode they're going to fight. I'm like, is all they're going to do is fight? It's like, what is this show? It's like yeah. So
yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste. There was a period of time where I watched probably like a good 150 episodes out of like the almost 300 they had, and I just had to tap out. But
I dig it now. Oh, and V salutes you for your synopsis of Dragon Ball. Well said. Because I had no idea what you're talking about, but I believed you did. So there you go. So there you go. V can vouch for you.
Thank you.
Dragon Ball. So there you go. We salute you, sir. All right. Our final pick for the evening here, our one independent pick of the week here. This has been a really fun series. IDW's The Exorcism at 1600 Penn. So this storyline is basically our first female president is elected to the United States. She's got a husband who's a doctor, who is African American. So basically, they have children of mixed races. They got a white daughter and a black son.
Mm-hmm.
Daughter is basically showing the signs of possession, on a demonic scale here. As a lot of possession stories go, it's been a slow burn, but it's a 4-issue miniseries. So issue 3, the volume gets turned way up on stuff here. This is where we're spitting pea soup, we're crab walking, we're peeing on the floor during dinner parties. We're all the things are happening.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this too, though, is there's a lot, of course, real world politics stuff going on. And there's apparently a terrorist organization that have these devices that have like, basically have like sonic, it's kind of like a sonic device that basically produces hallucinations, odd behavior, and whatever else. So they're referring to this as the Havana syndrome. And so there's a lot of kind of like, is she actually possessed by a demon thing? Or is this just these, someone planted a device in the area and she's having this kind of hallucination? So there's a lot of that, is she or isn't she sort of stuff going on in this series. I think, though, that issue number 3 pretty much cements home that we're dealing with a demonic force here.
Okay.
But yeah, this has been well done here. So Hannah Rose May is the writer, and Vanessa Del Rey does the art. I'm not familiar with Hannah Rose May as a writer, but Vanessa Del Rey is a hell of an artist. So this is really good stuff here. So issue 4 will be the last one there. So I'm curious to check how that one's going to roll out. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, just it's as a good exorcism story goes. It's been like the first issue is a lot of setup. Second issue started giving us a little bit of stuff going on here, and then third issue is like, it's like okay, yep, nice, well paced, nice. Yeah, well done. All right, so for our topic du jour here, we're
the moment you've all been waiting for.
Absolutely. Going back to the Fanatic Favorites series here that I did late last year, or no, actually, not last year, 2 years ago. God, time's a flat circle, folks. 2 years ago. So basically talking about favorite movies, favorite shows, things like that. So we got to talk about Grindhouse.
The soundtrack just pops into my head, or just like deep bass riff that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can hear it in my head.
Yeah, the especially the soundtrack and the theme for Planet Terror with that wailing saxophone. And of course, I love that dude gets a cameo in the movie, because when basically all the survivors are locked up by Bruce Willis and his soldiers, like that dude's just like sitting in the prison cell playing saxophone, entertaining people. Like, hey, he gets an on-screen cameo. That's cool. And fun fact, Robert Rodriguez basically pulled a John Carpenter and wrote and performed the score to Planet Terror by himself, and some other collaborators and whatnot.
He's
But yeah,
done that with a lot of his movies, like scored that he is almost the modern day John Carpenter in a lot of ways, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a member. He's a member of his own form band Shingon, who did music for like Desperado. They did Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and of course, but my favorite, their color of Malabuena for the part 2 of Kill Bill. Basically, that's the
Oh
song.
yeah.
That's the song that ends Kill Bill Part 2.
Yeah.
Like, that song is forever on my playlist because like it just gives me friggin' chills every time, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the like Planet Terror is one of my it's just one of my favorite like movies in and of itself, just because it's like
Mhm.
it feels like if John Carpenter and Lucio Fulci had like a collaboration, and like that's what they would make. And I think Rodriguez even name checks Fulci
Mhm.
in the commentary track of the
Oh
movie,
yeah.
talking
Yep.
about just like with like Fulci's like extreme gore and the thing like that. Yeah, and it was and
Oh
just
yeah.
that whole atmosphere of like it's got a very like City of the Living Dead kind of vibe going on. Which if you've ever seen that, like Lucio Fulci, number one, if you're a Grindhouse fan at all, like check out Lucio Fulci stuff if you haven't before, like the Beyond,
Yep.
City of the Living Dead, uh,
Zombie.
yeah, Zombie, Cat in the Brain, stuff like that.
Yep.
Just because it's like it's Italian, it's weird, it's surreal. It doesn't the plots 9 times out of 10 don't make a lick of sense. But
No.
you're not there for that. You're there just to be weirded out with the visuals and everything. And
Yeah.
Rodriguez really kind of leans into some of that with Planet Terror. And
Yeah.
I appreciate
Planetary
that.
Planetary, as the gore goes, it's a very wet film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of fluids going on here.
Oh gosh, yeah, and like in some of the like the boils and like the poppings and everything. Like
Oh yeah.
I still think about like there's the scene when in the hospital when Josh Brolin is trying to pop the dude's blister and it just blumps all over him,
I
and
know,
you're
right?
just like, oh no, like you're
But
infected.
well, at first he hits his glasses, so he's kind of like, oh, gets out that way, right? And
Yeah,
then later on in the movie, that same patient, goes crazy and is going after Brolin with like a bone saw, and then like when the
that's
saw,
right. Yeah,
he goes too far and gets unplugged, and so then basically he just pops a blister on his face and then just smears it all over Brolin. Like, okay, now you're infected. So yeah, I was
that's
like, I don't
right.
have to,
Yeah.
yeah, but oh yeah, but it's just poor Brolin, man. It's like, see, it's like this is why he played Thanos. Like, I want to kill half the world because they smeared goo all over my face and tried to kill me.
Yeah. This is almost like the big movie, like his big comeback movie, almost. Like I think.
Yeah, because I
Hold on,
can't
I got to
remember.
look up what time or when No Country for Old Men came out. Let me look
That's
that up
exactly what I
real
was
quick.
going to say. I think it may have been like the same year or within like within a year or so.
2007, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
2007.
yeah, same year. So yeah, it was part of his comeback. Yep.
Okay, well, good deal. Yeah. And yeah, and just the whole like the whole package of the way that it's put together with the cast and everything is you had Jeff Fahey in Planet Terror, Michael Bean, you've
Mm-hmm.
got Rose McGowan, of course,
Mark.
Michael
Yeah.
Parks coming back to play Sheriff Earl McGraw again,
Mm-hmm.
crossing directors this time.
Yes,
Because yeah, he was originally a Tarantino only character. Well, no, I take that back. He was created, but yeah,
he
he
was
still
in Dust
counts.
Till Dawn.
Yeah, well, no, he was in Dust Till Dawn, but I had forgotten Rodriguez directed from Dust Till Dawn, so he's a
Mm-hmm.
collaboration character. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because basically he's in Dust Till Dawn, and then he plays Earl McGraw a third time.
He plays him in
Well,
Death Proof, I believe.
he plays him in Death Proof. But I thought he played him in like a third movie. Like it was Dust Till Dawn, and then both parts of Planet Terror and Grindhouse. But yeah, I thought he was because I know
He's
he's in Kill Bill 2, but he's not playing Earl McGraw. He's playing the Colombian drug lord, which Michael Parks can do a South American accent, believably of like, oh, that's awesome.
no, he was in Kill Bill Volume 1, and he was in Volume 2 as the drug lord.
That's right. So he's Earl
Yeah,
McGraw in the first one, and then the drug lord in part 2. That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
okay.
speaking of Michael Parks, did you know that Michael Parks has not one, not two, but three records?
No, I didn't.
Yep, because he
I'm
has
gonna imagine
shown.
he's a country guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. He, basically in the mid-70s, I can't remember the TV show, but he had a TV show that brought him a little bit of popularity, and that's kind of what it was, his star-making thing. And so off that TV show fame, he recorded a couple country albums. They're not bad. As far as celebrity records goes, there have been a lot worse. Mike Parks has a good voice to him. He has an authentic sounding country voice. But yeah, if you ever want to go down the dinosaur rabbit hole of celebrity records, there, Michael Parks has 3 country records.
You know what? That just gave me a great idea. I want to do an entire episode on celebrity albums because we could have Michael Parks, we could have Steven Seagal's blues albums, we could have Bruce Willis's jazz albums, we could have
Hervé
William
Villachez,
Shatner. Yeah, whatever the hell he did. Those Leonard Nimoy ones.
Leonard Nimoy. Terry Bradshaw has got a couple of country records.
Oh, yeah.
John Carradine thought he was Woody Guthrie for a couple of years because he did a movie. So he recorded some folk albums that are god awful. You want to talk about long rambling songs that don't go anywhere?
Yeah, tune in the next couple of weeks for our expose on celebrity records.
Yes,
that'll be a barn burner.
I love these weird rabbit holes. I've gone on other people's podcasts, forcing them to go down rabbit holes. So,
right,
yeah, okay, there we go. John Cena and Shaq Fu.
Oh, Shaq Diesel too.
Shaq, that's right. Yeah, Shaq Fu was the video game. Shaq Diesel's the.
Oh,
my mistake. My mistake. Yes. Yeah, John Cena. We could do a whole show on wrestler records because while there are a handful of wrestler records like Jesse the Body Ventura, Classy Freddie Blassie, Jimmy Valiant,
Atlanta, GA.
Yeah, Jerry the King Lawler. There's a lot of wrestlers back in the American wrestlers that had a lot of records in the 70s and 80s, stuff like that. But American wrestlers that went to Japan and made records there: Hulk Hogan, Terry Funk, Abdullah the frickin' Butcher, baby.
What?
Yes, sir. Abdullah the Butcher has a record that he quote unquote sings on. Yeah,
I can imagine. Yeah.
it's more kind of like talking, but it's kind of early rap sort of thing. But yeah. Abdullah the Butcher had a record in Japan.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, the Hogan, what's called Ichiban #1, is available digitally now. So you can go on Spotify, Apple, whatever else, and you can listen to Ichiban right now as you.
That would be one of the things that I went and listened to, and then my playlist would have it sucked in and locked down on. And it would be I would hit shuffle and it'd be this is the song you want to hear first, right? It's no, it's on shuffle, you tit. Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, we're getting way off course.
We're getting way off track. But that's why you guys love us. We get on our weird tangents here.
We go on such a weird but then so anyway, back to Planetary. I even forgot to mention Bruce Willis being in it. It was one of
Bruce Willis is in it.
Yeah. I love the anecdote that Robert Rodriguez tells too. He's like, all right, you're gonna be the guy that captured Osama bin Laden, and Bruce Willis is like, who better? He pulled the Brian Cage, right? Who better?
Mm-hmm. Who better? Yeah. No.
And this was Bruce Willis, while he was still doing quality films before, his the decline,
It was in the midst of a decline. He was doing a combination of he'd pop up in something that people would see, and then he'd do 3 movies that went straight to DVD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of in that weird period. This was literally in the period where we're doing the Die Hard sequels that no one asked for, and when we got them, no.
Hey, the Die Hard 4, I'll still stay. That was a damn good movie.
Yeah, I'll have to see those again. I'll have to give that another shot because
now Die Hard 5, that was a big old turd.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I celebrate the third one. I basically 2 is a little bit. 2 is more of the same. Okay, we're at an airport instead of being okay. Yeah, I get that. It's kind of more the same. But I love Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. I love too. I've still got a soft spot for 2 just because I'm a huge Rennie Harlan fan.
Oh
For
yeah, I mean,
just for his he is one of him he and McTiernan,
mhm.
I love that I love that Die Hard comes out, McTiernan directs it and it's a smash hit. And then Rennie Harlan directs Die Hard 2, it's a smash hit, even though it kind of is a rehash of Die Hard 1, but that's what
Yeah.
everybody wants. And then McTiernan's like, well, hold my beer, you ain't topping me. And then they make Die Hard 3.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, I got yeah. See, it's like it's fun with how franchises work that way, and then of course you get that long gap. It's like, okay, we haven't had anything for 3
Yeah.
a while. They're like, oh, we're gonna do another Die Hard movie.
Well, there was a couple of times Bruce Willis actually even starred in movies that were supposed to be Die Hard sequels. There was one movie, I think it was Hostage, where he was like a hostage negotiator,
Oh
outside of a
yeah.
house. Yeah, that was supposed to be a Die Hard sequel. He was supposed to be in the house protecting his daughter, with
No
a seed.
kidding.
Yeah, and there was another one like that too, but I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, it's a really interesting rabbit hole because there were so many Die Hard sequels that were
Oh
planned over the
yeah.
years
It
that
always felt
never.
like Last Boy Scout could have been a Die Hard sequel too. That's totally a Shane Black movie though.
Yeah, directed by Rennie
That's
Harlan.
also directed by Rennie Harlan. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. I wonder if it was that. What was that one movie that Bruce Willis was in with Sarah Jessica Parker before she hit Sex and the City? Yeah, it's like out there, like Coast Guard people or something like that. I remember a lot of boats. I don't
Striking
remember.
Distance.
Yeah, that one.
That was 93 though, so that was
Okay, now that one. Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. Hey, Hostages isn't a bad movie though. I seem to remember that one. So
Yeah. No, it was a fine movie, but
yeah.
yeah.
But
Again,
back to our topic du jour, though.
yeah.
Reminding everybody, we're talking about Grindhouse here.
Grindhouse, yeah. Now, just switching gears for a second too. Now we talked a little bit about Planet Terror, and of course, Death Proof obviously being the second half of that. Now,
Yes.
Death Proof, I remember the reception not being as hot for Death Proof as it was for Planet Terror.
Correct.
And I even had that mindset at first too. I was like, I mean, it was okay, especially the first half of it, up until the first car chase. But then the second half, it was just like, oh, okay, this is what it is. Now
Yeah.
I appreciate it more as a complete whole and as an independent film now, like a movie by itself now. Just over the years, just going back to it and seeing the whole table turning thing. But what was your take on it when you first saw Death Proof?
When I first saw it, immediately I felt that it had pacing issues because Planet Terror is so tight. It's so fun. It's bang, 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 and then boom, it's over. Like, oh no, I want more.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we haven't got to the fake trailers yet, which we will get to. Don't worry.
Right.
But and then we get a couple of fake trailers and some commercials in between, and then we get Death Proof. The problem with Death Proof is that Tarantino wanted to do a lot of things with this movie, and it borrows from obviously a slasher movie, a little bit more giallo than a Carpenter sort of thing like that. But then it's also a women in prison movie, but we're not actually in prison. And then it's also a car movie, but we definitely got the cars for it.
Yeah.
So it's literally like Tarantino couldn't decide what kind of exploitation movie he wanted to do, so he decided to try to fit 3 or 4 into one. But just saying, oh, I want to do a slasher movie, but the guy's got a car with it. It's also a bunch of other things, because for a slasher movie, this movie is very talky.
Oh, extremely talky. And now
that's saying a lot for a Tarantino devotee and someone who loves talky movies, especially when it's Tarantino stuff, but it's get on with it.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like such a drag. Especially after the first half, after Kurt Russell goes through and does what he does in the first half, murdering all the girls. Spoiler.
Yeah, when Jungle Julie and her friends.
Yeah, Jungle Julie and her friends, they take it, they bite it. Now the when it's just, and it feels like it's a 10-minute shot of the round table. And I mean, it's cinematographically, is that a word? Yeah. However they shot it, it was well done because it was just that circular shot around the table. But damn, 10 minutes of that, of just of the prattle, and the problem wasn't necessarily that like the actors or the dialogue that they were delivering. Like Tarantino writes mundane dialogue so well that you're getting friggin' bored with it.
I
Like
know.
they sound too much like real people. Like if this was a conversation that I was overhearing at a restaurant, I'd be like, hot crap. Like these people just, yeah, like they go live with your lives. You know, I'm sure they're exciting to you. They're boring to everyone else.
Yeah,
But
exactly. But of course, then once we get past the talking and establishing who these characters are, and we get the Challenger, which, I mean, yeah, I love me some Vanishing Point, and so they had to get themselves a white Challenger, even though it had black interior and not the cream interior that Kowalski's car had. So we're not going to mention that part. But anyway, but nonetheless, yeah, having that car in there, and then basically once Zoe straps herself down and does the ship smash thing, then things really get turned up there.
oh yeah. Yeah,
Um,
and that's when it's really, really good. And
mhm.
like that's when the movie starts to pick back up again because it's the slasher chase it's a slasher chase scene, you know, and then eventually, you know, the girls start to turn, like the tables turn. And then
Yeah.
that's what I love it, because then Kurt Russell stuntman Mike, like he starts crying and everything and he wants
Oh,
him
and
to leave him alone.
screaming and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it turns into a total bitch. Yeah. And it's like after you just seen him viscerally murder, you know, all of all of these people in the previous act. Which did you ever read the screenplay book for it?
No,
Or
I did not know.
yeah, it's there's a whole bit in the screenplay where after it talks about after that Michael Parks goes to see or is in the hospital talking to his kid about stuntman Mike. And like you
Mhm.
find out that like the whole reason like stuntman Mike doesn't drink is because it's like they can't pin anything on him. It's always just a man, or it's like if
Yeah.
worst case scenario he could get pinned with manslaughter and not necessarily homicide, even though Earl McGraw knows for a fact that he killed these girls. You
Well,
know,
that's in the movie
oh,
too.
that is. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's in the movie as well. Matter of fact, because of course, when initially the film was released, Grindhouse was you had both parts, you had the fake trailers and everything all together, so it was a complete double feature cinematic viewing experience.
Right.
But since this did not do well in the box office, because basically most people didn't get the concept of what they were doing.
Right, right.
Matter of fact, V and I were talking about this offline before the show, and yeah, he's like, yeah, there were reports where people left after after Planet
I
Terror was over.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Yeah, people didn't understand that there was going to be another movie after that. And I believe in overseas markets that both movies were released separately
Yes,
with yeah, and
yeah,
there's one thing we didn't talk about either, a gimmick to that to both of these movies. And that's
yes,
the missing reels.
yes.
Yeah.
Please let's discuss the missing reel.
Yeah. So Planet Terror has one of the most blue ballsing missing reels that you could ever hope to. Because okay, so El Rey is this character in Planet Terror. He's the badass, right? He's the guy that
Yeah,
we're following. And the whole movie, like like Michael Biehn is the sheriff, knows who he is, and like it's like has this like or doesn't like him, and then finds out that
Bruce Willis knows who he is. The military guys know who he
yeah,
is.
yeah, and it's like this dude is not a dude that you want to trifle with.
Mhm.
And the right when he's about to explain like his whole story and origin, missing reel,
Yeah,
like, and yeah, or no, it's like it's the sex scene, then
it's the
missing
sex scene.
reel, and
Yeah,
then Michael Bean's like, "I'm glad you told me all of this stuff." It's like,
yeah, yeah. So basically, that's the whole thing, though. Is like this Grindhouse is full of gimmicks that basically kind of mirrored possibly your viewing experience if you saw this in a 70s, early 80s era Grindhouse theater,
right,
which the Grindhouse basically explained for the uninitiated. And of course, we're getting this into 45 minutes into the show here. Probably should have started this earlier.
yeah, we're
What
probably should
Grindhouse is.
from the jump.
Anywho, a Grindhouse theater is basically a theater that would play all the B movie exploitation films. Didn't matter if it was an action, horror, comedy, booby
Kung
movie,
Fu, yeah,
kung fu, western. Doesn't matter what it was. If it's a low budget exploitation, boom, we'll play it. We'll probably do some double features, maybe even a triple feature, whatever else, just to keep your butts in the seats, or maybe somebody comes in during the second feature. So anyway, it was
right, right, right.
just a cheap money making thing to do. These theaters were not well maintained or whatever else, and a lot of times the prints would come usually because it wasn't like the film was released widely, so it was very much like the films would travel to certain regions. Like it may start in the Northeast and then head to the Northwest, but then it's got to make its way there theater by theater by theater. So
Right.
maybe if the film started in New York, by the time that print gets to California, that's going to be a pretty crappy looking print.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because in New York, like, it might have went to Chicago after that, and the film broke in their shitty projector. And
Yep.
then, yeah, and then, like, it makes it from Chicago down to St. Louis, and then, and then, like, the projectionist is like, "Oh, well, I like this cell where the actress is topless. I'm going to splice that out."
Ding, ding,
And
ding
so,
out.
yeah, and yeah, you'd get, like, all kinds of that, and it's like the prints would be, like, they would just get dirtier and grimier, and it would be, and grindhouse theaters necessarily weren't exactly safe places anyway.
Mhm.
They were the place, like, they were the theaters where it's like, the homeless people would go in and, like, drink and get drunk because it was just a dark room they could hang out in for 6 hours. Like, there were prostitution, drug use, it's in the seedier theaters. Not all of them were like that, obviously, but yeah.
Basically the kind of theater that Pee Wee Herman got arrested in back in the 90s for his self-flagellation, shall we say.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the kind of theater he got arrested in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
And
the pre-Giuliani New York theaters that got I idolized as a child, having never visited one and always wanted to and never had a chance. And then now that New York has gentrified itself in Times Square, I never will. So there you
yeah. Yeah, oh, I'll never. I was so pissed. I was dating a girl who lived in New York, and we were like, I was visiting her one time, and we were in Manhattan, and it was right when Bubba Hotep had come out, right?
go.
And
Oh,
like, there was this hole in the wall movie theater, and it was like, I remember it was 9:30 at night, and I'm looking at it. The box office hadn't even opened yet, but Bubba Hotep opened, like, they had a showing at 10:30. And I'm
mm,
like, oh, I gotta see, how many times am I gonna get to see Bubba Hotep in New York in, like, a hole in the wall theater?
yeah.
And then, yeah, well, like, the girl I was with, she was not down for that whatsoever. Well, I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why we ain't dating now, or, but yeah, that was like, oh man, that was a missed opportunity, I feel like,
Indeed,
on that one. But
indeed.
yeah,
Yeah. So, but that gives you an idea for the grindhouse stuff. So, yeah. So by the time sometimes would get, print would get there, it may actually be missing an entire reel of the movie, which is probably about 20 minutes of the movie.
right.
So yeah. So basically, you get like exposition scenes, sex scenes, all kinds of stuff cut out of it. So like but so it's kind of funny that you know that part is cut out. They get that gimmick in there, but that Planet Terror was still a good movie, even with 20 minutes cut out of
Oh yeah, yeah.
it.
Oh, there was another thing too that talking about some of these movies, like, they would get re-released under different names as re-edit.
Yes. Yes.
And I remember, wasn't it I Spit on Your Grave was one of them, where
Mhm.
it got released as Day of the Woman originally,
Yep.
and no one went to see it. And then when it got re-released a couple of years later as I Spit on Your Grave, I believe it was re-edited a little bit, wasn't it?
Sure was.
And
Yep.
yeah, and it was re-edited because Roger Ebert talks about seeing it multiple times in one of his books, and some of the
Yeah.
changes that were made to it. And it was just really interesting to see, to hear about, like, how some of these movies get a second life on the grindhouse circuit,
Oh
as
yeah.
as something else. And yeah,
Yeah.
if you really want to get a deep dive to it, Tarantino's got a book called Cinema Speculation that talks about some of these movies. It's a great book. And Joe
Absolutely.
Bob Briggs, a lot of his written books,
Yeah.
yeah, about, like, there's one, he's got one book called Profoundly Disturbing, which is about, like, I think it's like 10 or 15 movies that were considered vile and disgusting or problematic at the time, but are classics now. And it's like stuff like The Wild Bunch, Shaft,
Oh yeah. Mhm.
yeah, Deep Throat was in there. A bunch of them, The Exorcist, Ilsa, She Wolf of the SS, stuff like that. Um,
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
but like,
not even getting into the video nasty sort of thing. These were like,
no, no, no. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, this was just like straight film that you would go, like, to a theater to watch. And yeah, it was like some of the stuff that they could show in these theaters back in the day, because they weren't carrying that, like, the MPAA didn't necessarily have a hold on these independent theaters at all. Right now, like,
Nope.
most theaters in this country are chain theaters that won't play anything that's not MPAA rated.
Right.
You have to go to your super indie theaters to get an NC-17 movie or anything that's unrated played. And half the time they don't even do that because they don't even make money off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I
But
mean, what was the last NC-17 film to be released theatrically? I mean, come on,
Yeah, gosh, I can't. The only one I can think of even being released theatrically was Showgirls. I know there's
Well,
probably
and Basic Instinct as well.
Basic Instinct was NC-17 at the time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be
Yes,
honest.
sir.
I've never seen that entire movie. I've seen the famous scene, but like
I saw that theatrically. I think was it my cousin Todd? Yeah, I think Todd was with me,
yeah.
and we saw it over at the oh God, what was the eightplex theater that was over by the hospital that's not there anymore.
Village 8.
Yeah, the Village 8. Yeah,
Oh
when it was
wow.
still when the Village 8 was still a first run theater.
Oh
So
dang.
yeah.
See, that was
So
before my time because I remember my mom taking me there on like 50 Cent night and watching movies because it was like I always
oh yeah.
remember it as the second run theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a great life as a second run theater too, because it was like one of the better theaters. It was like, despite the fact that it was a discount theater, it was nicely run.
Yeah,
Um,
it really was.
yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, the only reason why it's not there anymore is because it got bought out by the hospital because they wanted to basically make room for more hospital stuff,
Right,
because
yeah.
they don't already own 5 square blocks of footage here. They got to take our movie theater as well with it. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Well, it may actually been a prudent thing with all the, like H1N1 coming back, and it's like people, yeah.
Fine. Okay. We're curing
I'm
diseases.
Don't get me wrong. Like when the Green Tree 4 burned down in Clarksville, that was a dark day for me too, because that was another one of
Yeah, I
yeah.
know.
But yeah.
God, man. Now, I'll tell you what. Having been an employee of the Cinemark franchise, let me tell you, the Green Tree Four was a crappy theater.
It was a crappy theater, man, but for $5 you had, like, if they had a good run, for $5 you had a Saturday, man. Like,
I mean,
yeah.
because yeah, it was you had the cheap dollar theater sort of thing like that, but then like Tuesdays was 50 cent night, and man, you like they would fill up houses with those 50 cent nights. Didn't matter what movie it was. We're like, we're going to the movies to see something for 50 cents.
Yeah.
So
That was where I saw Scream for the first time, was for 50 cents at the Green Tree 4.
no,
And
oh,
yeah. But yeah, sorry, going back to what we were talking. Yeah, this is one of the, like, you and I have actually only seen maybe a handful of movies together in the theater. But
I know that's weird.
Grindhouse was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, Grindhouse was one of them. I remember we saw 300 together, we saw
Mm-hmm.
Constantine together, Sin
Yep.
City. Like, we've
Mm-hmm.
seen, like, every movie we've seen together has been extremely memorable and something that we've been super hyped to see.
Yeah,
And
totally. Yeah, that's true.
Grindhouse being one of them. Revenge of the Sith was another one.
Well, they can't all be winners.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah,
yeah.
matter of
Right.
fact, with Grindhouse seeing it theatrically, I've seen it a couple times theatrically because having you and I saw it together. But then I took Michelle because she and I were still like in our early stages of dating, and I told her about it. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And so she and I saw it together in the theater. Like I say, and of course, we've been together now for this year will be 20 years this fall that we've been together. So.
God, y'all been married 20 years. Holy.
No. We've been dating 20 years. We've only been this year
Oh.
will be 17 years of marriage.
Well, still, no. It's like I remember when y'all got together. Like, that was like, damn, I feel old.
That was
But
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, but back to the movie. And actually, we have a comment here because Mr. V is in here. He's been patiently waiting to say his thing here, so we're going to say his thing here. So he was talking about a previous comment he made there. In the opening sequence by Rodriguez, he sets the tone and expectation pretty much for the whole double feature and what Grindhouse movies are about. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Even with the effects they use on the screen, where like you can see like the scratches or like jump cuts or things like that. Yeah, that was the great thing they really did well about the only thing that was missing was basically like the guy that was shooting up next to you, the couple having sex over there, or the gentleman in front of you pleasuring himself, or perhaps behind you screaming things at the screen or whatever else.
Yeah.
That was the other part of the experience you were missing with the theatrical, but otherwise the viewing experience was right there.
Yeah. Well, it's like I think what V even might be talking about too is, now correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't get a chance to watch the movie again before we did the show. But
Yep.
Planet Terror starts with the Machete trailer,
Oh,
right?
yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like that. I believe that might be what V's talking about with that Machete trailer, just kind of like in a 3-minute sequence telling you what the idea of a Grindhouse movie is going to be, and with
Mhm.
like shots like Cheech, it's like,
He's a
or
priest, but has
yeah,
no. It's like, oh, okay, you need me to kill somebody? Okay, sure.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, and it's like that scene where it's like Danny Trejo's in the confessional, and he's like, it's like, I need your help, brother, or I mean, Padre. And it's like he's got the cross that it's like, reflecting on his face, and like, yeah, it
Oh
was just
no, yeah,
all
love it.
those perfect things. And then yeah, who is the president in the Don Johnson? Was he in the
Jeff Fahey plays the senator that sends him on the mission that ends up,
okay, yeah.
double crossing him or whatever else. So yes, we get once again Jeff Fahey popping up.
Oh yeah, in the jar sequence. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The testicle cutting
Well, yeah, that's in Planet Terror. The guy,
yeah.
the I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy was on Lost.
Yeah, that
Um,
Saeed from Lost. Yeah,
yeah,
he was collecting the testicles in
he
the
was
jar. Yeah.
collecting testicles in the jars or in bags, whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually though, Machete turned from a fake trailer into a real movie. But then Jeff Fahey was replaced by Robert De Niro. So even though Fahey
Okay,
does
yeah.
pop, Fahey is in the movie, but his character is kind of like a secondary guy who's working for the senator who's actually Robert
Yeah.
De Niro. Yeah.
Which is a Rodriguez trick, by the way. If you ever notice that, like with El Mariachi, the mariachi is a guy who later becomes Antonio Banderas in Desperado, and
Yeah.
then the original guy shows up later to
Mm-hmm.
as like one of Antonio Banderas's buddies to
Yep.
shoot up the play. Yeah, so
And
it's
he
like
gets
yeah,
he basically he has no dialogue and he eventually gets killed.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, the original mariachi was in Desperado.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
A couple of the other actors, I think the guy who played the villain in El Mariachi is also in Desperado as well.
yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah, Arrow's got
Yeah.
a nice box set out now that's got like Mariachi, Desperado, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico together. Yeah,
Ooh.
I want to pick that up real bad.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was not aware of that. I was gonna say
yeah,
Arrow.
I think it just came out. I would suggest, like, if you can hold off, at least if you don't need the limited edition, maybe wait until July, because that's when Barnes and Noble has their half off sales. Yeah,
Yeah, good
yeah,
point. Good point. Yeah,
yeah.
actually, I was just at Barnes Noble this week looking around the DVD, see if there's anything interesting, and didn't see anything that I needed at the time. So, but yeah, I'll check it out for that one.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah. The poster. Yeah. Oh, the poster is amazeballs. Yeah.
for Marriott, for Machete, yeah.
That's how you sell a movie. You got stuff on fire. You got hot chicks with guns. Things are blowing up. Danny Trejo is just looking like $1,000,000 with that pockmarked to hell face.
Mm-hmm.
It was yeah. It's brilliant put together.
Yes, and of course, also yes, yeah, Jessica Alba. V has a great love for Jessica Alba. Matter of fact, at the shop at Clobberin, we have a Sin City poster of Miss Alba, and it's an original. It's not a reprint.
Ooh.
V wants it very bad. I absolutely want to sell him, and Tommy is like, "Oh, well, it takes a little bit to ship." It's like it's expensive to ship. It's like I know that, and the buyer is aware of that. So
Right. Yeah.
just give me the go, and you'll get some money for this thing,
Right.
and we have one less thing in the shop.
I was gonna say, it's like, do you need a poster tube? I can get you one from the mailroom. Like,
I don't know. I don't know what the
yeah.
holdup is, but anywho, yeah. I mean, I think I may have to get some poster tubes from you. So I don't know, but anyway, but yeah. So one of these days, I'm going to be shipping a very nice poster to Mr. V here,
Nice. Yeah.
because there's also a couple of Kill Bill posters that he wants as well. So I've essentially hidden the posters from the public eye, so they are still within the shop, but only I know where they are. So.
Which is probably a good idea, because I remember the last time I was in the shop, I was like, "Is the wall art for sale too?" And you were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Huh," because it's like I do need some more stuff for my house. So it's
Oh
like if I
yeah.
would have seen a Sin City or Sin City poster, I might have purchased it. I hope this. I want this to be cemented and documented on the podcast. Thank you.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Dark
So
Angel, Idle Hands, Sue Storm. Yeah, the original Sue Storm. Well, not the
mhm.
original, but yeah, the second Sue Storm. Yeah.
Yeah, technically, yeah, the second usual. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give props to Roger Corman movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, excuse me.
But
But
yes, but V has a very strong love for Jessica Alba. So if Cash ever decides to leave Miss Alba, she has a waiting suitor ready to go. This man will move worlds and mountains to be with his Miss Alba, nonetheless. So there you go.
fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Uh, but
Yeah, we still got to talk a little bit about these trailers too. We started talking about
let's do
Machete a
so.
little bit. Yeah.
So basically, the whole Grindhouse experience starts off with the trailer for Machete, and then we go right into Planet Terror. But then between Planet Terror and Death Proof, we have 3 trailers.
Yes.
Three. Yeah, we have 3 trailers in between. Yes, because it starts with Werewolf Woman of the SS.
Yeah, the Rob Zombie one.
The Rob Zombie one, and I agree with the critics on the Rob Zombie trailer. He was trying too hard.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, because the whole idea with these movies is like, oh man, it's gonna be some cool stuff, and you really want to see this. Where I was like, okay, so you got all these Nazi girls turning into werewolves, and they're killing other Nazis, but are they good werewolves that are Nazis killing other Nazis? It's like, is there a protagonist in this movie? And why is Fu Manchu in this movie, played by Nicolas Cage? It's like, what is he doing in here?
Yeah,
so it's like, it's like I get because the next trailer we get is Edgar Wright's Don't,
right.
which I get that one. Perfect.
Oh yeah, that is totally straight up being like a gothic horror, like an old school, like Hammer kind of deal.
And even throwing in a little bit of like Mario Bava or like early Argento stuff there too, because you get a little gorier than your traditional British horror movies like that, but you still get those. But yeah, it's like I get what Edgar Wright was doing, but it's like, Zombie was just trying way too hard.
He was trying for Nazi exploitation, and it just like it was just a little too Rob Zombie-ified, And Rob didn't think that far ahead. He makes it up as he goes. I can't argue with. Now, I'm going to say that I'm a huge fan of the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. I think that they're very like I'm one of the few people that I think probably love them. But like as far as the rest of Rob Zombie's filmography, it is kind of questionable to me.
I will give praise to Devil's Rejects. I think
Devil's Rejects was probably after the Halloweens. That's probably my pick for zombie movies.
Yeah, but, I'm not a fan of his I saw what he wanted to do, but there's nothing more I hate in a slasher film than explaining away the bad guy. And that was the thing I disliked the most.
And see, weirdly enough, that was the thing that actually I appreciated more out of his Rob Zombie. Like once he starts remaking Carpenter, it kind of sucks because he can't do it very well. But so
that's true. That's true. Yeah. I'll give you that one. Yeah. But Devil's Rejects, I think, is his finest work. Hands down.
I will still stand by, like, I believe it's like the first 15-20 minutes of his Halloween 2 is probably one of the hardest horror going of a horror movie I've ever seen. And then he cheaps out at the end of it, making it a dream sequence. But you never saw that, did you? The second Halloween?
I've never seen it all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen it. I need to give that one a full watch.
It starts out. The second one starts out almost like kind of like the Carpenter one did, with like Laurie's in the hospital and shit, but it's like Michael's like chasing her in the hospital, and it's like a super like hardcore, like Laurie's losing almost from Jump Street, right? And then like Michael gets her, and then she wakes up, and it's a dream, and it's like however long later, and you're like, holy crap, because it's like if you started a horror movie that intense and kept it going. Like by the end of it, like he would have had people hanging themselves in the theater. I think if he could have kept that momentum, Like, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I was saying, that's one thing I did notice is the intensity level, especially in the first Halloween. Like, basically, he's trying to do Carpenter. It's Carpenter with Rob Zombie intensity, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with that. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. Yeah, Rob didn't think that too that far ahead.
Yeah. But no, like talking about Edgar Wright's Don't trailer though, that was a lot of fun, especially Nick Frost as the giant baby just bouncing around. Like, yeah, that was, and of course that's like right when Shaun of the Dead was out and everything.
Yeah, he was doing his Clyde impersonation,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's always been talk of like the guys want to do a second Grindhouse movie, or like, oh, we do this in a minute, or whatever else, or even there was talk of putting when Eli Roth decided he was going to finally make Thanksgiving into a film, and then basically Edgar Wright was like, well, maybe I'll do something with Don't then. And there's again lots of talk that's happened, but nothing ever really happened.
Yeah.
But what did happen was the third trailer for the Eli Roth holiday horror themed Thanksgiving.
There will be no leftovers. Just the voiceover in that is just like it's quintessential to me. That's like the way they make these old trailers feel authentic, like they could be real movies. And going back to Death Proof for a second, I think that's one of the things I appreciate more about it now is the bad parts of Death Proof. Yep. Because a lot of these exploitation movies, these Grindhouse movies, like they had great moments, but they weren't necessarily the best movie if you thought about it all together.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, it was part of the charm now to me, or those draggy parts. But no, but going back to Thanksgiving, yeah, this trailer, I remember it being one of the ones there. I think after Machete, probably being one of the trailers that I wanted to see the movie of the most, just because of like some of the kill, like the trampoline kill, where their cheerleader does the splits and then he sticks the knife up through and back.
Yeah, like First, the boyfriend who's watching her undress gets taken out, and then she is still bouncing around, doesn't notice the boyfriend's not there anymore, and then basically decides to jump in the air, do the splits right on the waiting butcher knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course the last scene at the dinner table where the pilgrim is, we can't really even describe that on this family podcast, but
well, I mean, basically,
he's doing his best Pee Wee Herman, but he ain't in a theater.
Well, but the first part of it, basically, you get a family gathering around for a Thanksgiving meal, and then the turkey is unveiled, and the turkey is basically a human who was cooked in the thing, and the human had been beheaded, and his head was stuck on an actual turkey, and then you get a frame of the movie title or whatever else, and then another shot of someone fornicating the head, I guess. Just gently fornicating the head. Yeah. So,
and I believe that is getting a sequel as well. Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is. Yes, because basically last year Eli Roth finally released Thanksgiving. It came on. I think did it have a theatrical release? I didn't see it until it got on Netflix.
Well, it's the poster you got there says exclusively in theaters November.
Oh, I can't read apparently. So there you go. Yeah,
it was tiny.
Yeah, so yes, it was in theaters, and then I got to see it on Netflix. It is a scream. I loved it. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely, that's the thing. After Halloween and Friday the 13th came out, you essentially had like April Fool's Day, Graduation Day, all these, horror movie.
April Fool's Day was awesome though.
April Fool's Day was awesome, yes.
Yeah, if you haven't watched, if you're a slasher fan and you have never seen April Fool's Day, I'm not going to say anything else about it. Watch that movie.
Go in as blind as you can to see April Fool's Day.
Because it is truly brilliant.
Yeah, it is. But there was a lot of holiday themed slasher movies that came out.
Yeah.
And really the one that started it all that never gets its proper due is Black Frickin' Christmas.
Yeah, Black Christmas was directed by Bob Clark, oddly enough, who would go on to direct A Christmas Story.
And Porky's.
And Porky's. Yeah, but Bob Clark felt so bad about directing Black Christmas as such a bad Christmas movie that he did A Christmas Story. That's true, yeah. Yes, then he did Porky's. Bob Clark was a nuanced filmmaker.
A prolific filmmaker.
Yeah.
Because I think he did I think he did an action movie too, because of course, like he started off doing the horror stuff because he did like shouldn't play with dead things,
Yeah.
and then he did Black Christmas, and there was a couple other things in there. Then basically, Porky's came, and followed by Porky's 2 and Porky's 3, and then Christmas Story, but yeah, so Bob Clark was a very prolific director.
Oh, he did. He Loose Cannons. That's right. Yeah, with Hackman
Yes,
and
that's it. Loose Cannons. Yeah, I knew.
Oh
he did
my
a buddy
God!
cop.
Did you know that was written by Richard Matheson?
Loose Cannons was?
Yes.
Holy shit! I did not know that.
Richard Christian Matheson and So his son and Richard Christian Matheson, who also co-wrote the Bill and Ted trilogy.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and his father Richard Matheson, who you might remember from such things as 20,000 or what is it, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, the Twilight Zone episode, I Am Legend, the Haunting of Hill House, Stir of Echoes, What Dreams May Come, Somewhere in Time. Oh man,
The Incredible Shrinking Man.
Yeah, The Incredible Shrinking Man. Bob Clark did Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2, and Baby Geniuses. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Those were cash grabs. Yeah. Yeah. Those were cash grabs. But yeah. Like I said, Bob Clark did some stuff here.
Yeah. He did. But
and trying to get us back on track here, thank you, V. Says, can we bring up Wright's Last Night in Soho and its homage and influences that he kind of showed in Don't? Yeah, that's the thing. We kind of talked a little bit about, Don't definitely has a lot of your influences from, your British Gothic, ghost story horrors, your Hell Houses, all the Hammer horror stuff, things like that. But it also, the gore, there's a little bit of early Argento in there, but there's a lot more of the Bava stuff because it was very again, a lot of liquids, eye holes pouring, stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Last Night in Soho yet. So
Last Night in Soho is delightful. So basically, it's a supernatural murder mystery. So you get basically a young woman is attending basically like a fashion school in Soho, and the apartment she's lived in realizes that a younger woman in the 60s lived there, also was a fashion designer, and basically was murdered. And so she's kind of like, it's a little bit like a supernatural murder mystery because the modern day girl is trying to basically figure out the previous girl's life and maybe how she got murdered and things like that. There's a couple of lovely twists in the movie. And of course, this was Wright's film right after Baby Driver. So he's kind of going through this period of like just beautiful cinematics. Like, I really want to create some stuff because Baby Driver, if you all haven't seen that movie, is it's a car chase heist movie, but it's like if it was handled by a complete artisan.
Yeah.
It's absolutely great movie.
Brilliant, yeah.
But yeah, Last Night, and of course, it's Anna Taylor-Joy is the girl from that's the '60s girl. So she's big part of the movie, big driving force of the movie, and so so if you're an Anya Taylor-Joy fan, then that's another good reason.
I was on board with her for Furiosa, so
so it's a good showcase for her as well. But
Furiosa, Split, Glass, there was so many. And I'm a Anna Taylor-Joy fan. She's just great.
The Witch,
I need to see that.
Oh, you haven't seen The Witch?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I don't know what is wrong with me.
If I was there, I'd smack your hands.
Now,
anyway,
the movie that came out around the same time that I have seen, though, that I do enjoy was The Babadook. But
there you go. Love me some Babadook.
Oh yeah, and that kid is. Oh god, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd want to. I could go nuts. Want to strangle that kid too. Yeah, but
mommy. Yeah.
I want to see the short movie because the same director did like a short on the Babadook, and so basically, if you want to boil down the Babadook to about like under 20 minutes, that's kind of what his short was. But there's some differences. There's some things he did in the short that he kind of adjusted for the movie, and he feels like he made them better. But there's some people it's like I kind of like some of the choices he made. In the short. So I'm very still curious. I don't know if they've ever. I've got a really nice copy of it on Blu-ray. I don't know if the short is on there or not. I don't think it is. But yeah,
Hmm.
Babadook's definitely great. But yes, Last Night in Soho, definitely worth checking out. V's referring to the fact that basically after Edgar Wright did Don't, he initially thought about doing a film for this. It never worked out. But he kind of wanted to take some of those other influences. So this definitely works a little bit on the Dario Argento level, not so much with the level of gore in things, but the cinematography, the use of color, the use of lighting,
the atmosphere kind of deal.
The atmosphere, the style of the film, the use of music, very much has some Argento influences in there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a pretty movie, despite the fact that.
Yeah, I'm all about that then, because it's like, I'm a huge fan of like Deep Red and Bird with Crystal Plumage and stuff like that, like the early Argento, like
and of course, I know it's always talked about. It's his most popular movie, but Suspiria is still just amazing.
Oh yeah. Suspiria, the three Mothers trilogy, and Suspiria, Inferno, and I'm even a Mother of Tears fan for what it's worth. It's not the strongest one out of it, but it's probably Argento going as close to going back to his old form as.
Interesting. I've never seen Mother of Tears before. I've obviously seen Suspiria, and I've only seen Inferno once. But I've seen Suspiria multiple times.
Suspiria was one of those ones, man. I was trying to get that on 4K, but it was like super expensive, like because you could only get like some kind of weird limited edition for the longest time, or something. Yeah, it was bizarre. But no, going back to Grindhouse though, I wanted to talk about some of the home video releases we got of this.
Yes.
And something else too. I wanted to say too. Yeah, we were talking about the trailers for the movies, or like people wanting to make them. If Grindhouse had done well enough, it was going to be a franchise, with the idea being that multiple directors would come together and do 2 movies, and of these kind of style. But of course, it didn't do that great. It wasn't a bomb, but it wasn't it wasn't what a movie.
Tarantino refers to it as his only bomb, but it kind of was and kind of wasn't a bomb. It didn't. I think it was like a $53 million budget. It only made 25, so that's not quite bomb level, because you made at least half your money back. But
the people that watched it and got it. The people that didn't get it, it just didn't click.
For the audience that this was made for, it landed. That's at least one thing. It basically, the viewing experience of people wanted to go see this in the theaters that were ready for it. It was definitely a great experience.
But like we were saying earlier, where it didn't do too well in the States, it got split up overseas. And when it didn't get released as one video over here, or one movie over here, until the Blu-ray. There was the that's the one I got. I got that one too, with the slipcover and everything. But now the original DVDs, it was Planet Terror and Death Proof as separate films. And they were like, they had nice special features, and they had like extra scenes in them. Like I think, didn't Death Proof have the deleted reel put back into it, because it was the lap dance?
We got to see the lap dance.
I was I had heard that the reel was put back in Death Proof, and I was like, oh sweet, so Planet Terror is going to have it too. No, Rodriguez is just like, screw y'all ain't getting that one.
Well, basically, Rodriguez's movie was long enough for a theatrical release without the missing 20 minutes, whereas Tarantino's needed a little bit extra time. So
Tarantino's was about like what, 110, or it was like an hour 10, something like that.
It needed the extra time for separate release.
But part of the gimmick was that you were only going to be able to see the version in theaters theatrically with the trailers and everything, because some of the trailers were on the other were on the DVDs, but only like stuff like Machete.
Machete was with Planet Terror, but I don't think the other 3 trailers were on Death Proof.
None of the other 3 trailers were there. We we forgot to talk about one trailer that wasn't that didn't get
we can talk about that.
It was go ahead.
So it was after Grindhouse was released, there was a contest that was announced that was basically asking directors to make their own fake trailer for a movie. And the winner of this contest, your trailer would be put on a theatrical release of Grindhouse. So you wouldn't basically get it during the first run for the first weekend when everybody was actually seeing the movie, but if you saw it later on, then it would be on there.
Yeah.
So the trailer was a film called Hobo with a Shotgun. And literally that's all you need to know about the movie.
Right, yeah, starring Rutger Hauer of all people.
Well, the original trailer starred nobody, basically.
The original trailer, it was a
original. But then this trailer was able to be made into a full film. So the director of the trailer got to make his movie and recast everybody. Although the original Hobo did get to play a character of a corrupt cop in the movie that gets killed by the hobo.
Yeah.
So the original actor playing said hobo does get to come in the movie in the large theatrical one. But yes, but Rutger Hauer plays the title character, literally where he's wronged by, bad people on the streets that are abusive to homeless people or corrupt cops or whatever the case may be, and literally taking justice one shell at a time.
Yeah. It is a fantastic movie, and it is wild. It is violent as all hell. It's crazy. It's like it's probably my favorite, like not counting Blade Runner, all right, because Blade Runner is probably like peak Rutger Hauer, but like
that's on a different plane.
Yeah, Hobo with a Shotgun and Split Second are my two favorite Rutger Hauer movies. Yeah.
Yes.
And if you haven't seen Split Second, talk about a Grindhouse movie. That is a sci-fi futuristic movie where Rutger Hauer is he's a future a cop in the future hunting down an alien serial killer in the middle of flooding London. And it is, oh man, it's cornball as all hell, but it is great.
Love it.
It is amazing. Yeah.
If we're going top three, my number 3 pick would be Wanted Dead or Alive.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Yeah.
And actually, I would put it for a tie for third place, Wanted Dead or Alive and Blind Fury. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I grew up with a very healthy love of Rutger Hauer back in the day.
Oh, so. Yeah. No, he was.
And honestly, and Hobo with a Shotgun was one of his last roles too.
Yeah, it really was. It was one of his. Now, did you ever play the video game that he did? It's it's called Observer, and it's I think it's on Xbox. Yeah, but he voices the main character, and it's a futuristic cyberpunk mystery, like FPS mystery. Like it's hella good for what it is. And Rutger Hauer is just like, he's killer in it. And I think that was actually the last credit he had, like doing anything. But Hobo with a Shotgun was one of the last films that he did.
Yeah, because I remember like he was in that, he was in Sin City, and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of stuff he did like in the mid 2000s before he retired from acting. So because he was able to retire from acting before he passed away, which he passed away a couple of years ago. But Hobo with a Shotgun. Somebody, the director got the assignment.
100%, yeah.
Because that was honestly the biggest drive with Grindhouse, is that Tarantino and Rodriguez both stated, like, we grew up with our love of Grindhouse movies, these low budget movies, either seeing them in the theaters or you go in the video store and you see the box art, whatever else. 90% of the time, the box art was going to be better than the movie. Kind of reiterating what you said earlier, there would be some cool moments, some cool action sequences or whatever else. But in that 90 minutes, there's probably going to be a good 50 minutes of garbage.
Yeah. Well, which I learned whenever I went back through and tried to watch Billy Jack again, which is another. Yeah, if you're not familiar with Billy Jack, it was the movie. It was one of the pinnacle Grindhouse movies of the day. Another classic movie example of what we were talking about earlier. That got re-released later and did better. So it was a couple of years ago. I bought the box set that Shout had of Billy Jack, because I was like, is
it all 3 movies?
All 3 of them are on there, yeah. And so I'm trying to, it's 4 movies, yeah, because Born Losers is the first one, and then there's Billy Jack, and then Billy Jack Goes to Washington, and whatever.
Which Billy Jack Goes to Washington is an exercise in stamina, and just, I mean, imagine the most boring hippie, statement kind of movie that's like nearly 3 hours in length, and
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
like,
man.
oh, it's a slog.
And,
It's
and that, and that's what Billy Jack felt like, tried to watch it now, like recently. And so like I'm watching it and it's like the scenes where Billy Jack's in, I forgot the actor's name off the top of my head. Uh
oh
but
shit.
the scenes that he is in are fine. Like, because everybody remembers the whole like I'm gonna put my foot on that side of your face. And it's a badass scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best scene of the whole movie. You can just watch that again and you don't have to watch the rest of it. Because like there's like the prolonged like 15-20 minute sequence of the hippies doing improv
Mm-hmm.
that in the town trying to make them endear themselves to the town. And yeah, it's just billy Billy Jack's a big old piece of shit. Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and Tom Laughlin was the
Mm,
actor. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So basically, it's
yeah,
like, Billy Jack has like Native American heritage, and of course, he's a hippie. So he's basically like, we're fighting the man, that's, going
yeah,
against our redskin brothers and our, hippie children and stuff like that. And basically, Billy Jack knew like a couple of spin kicks, and, there you go.
right, yeah,
this Native American hippie American dude knows Kung Fu. There you
yeah, yeah, and there's not nearly enough kung fu in that damn movie.
No,
Yeah,
no, there's not. There's not.
yeah,
But
I was just
it,
super excited to watch Billy Jack again, and man, that's so disappointing.
yeah, but it was literally like, it's like, the hippies fight back in this one. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
yeah,
whatever. And a couple of interesting side notes here to talk about Grindhouse. As the movies themselves go, the continuity is backwards because the events of Planet Terror take place after the events of Death Proof.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because if you really pay attention, and of course, like ultimately, like it doesn't mean a damn thing. Like, yeah,
No,
if you just think about it too hard, your HUD will explode.
pretty
But
much,
yeah,
yeah.
Michael Parks being the linchpin, excuse
Mm-hmm.
me, of both these movies, put
Uh,
the
and
timetable.
Marley Shelton plays basically the same role in both movies too. You see her
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
pop up
that
briefly
yeah,
as well too. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, but and then of course in Planet Terror, there's a scene briefly where you hear the radio and the DJ is doing a tribute to our beloved Jungle Julia and whatever else. Of course, we don't meet Jungle Julia until we get to Death Proof.
right, right. Yeah,
So
which is brilliant. So it's like, yeah, it's definitely a shared universe. So Death Proof happens before the big zombie apocalypse, where Rose McGowan gets her machine gun leg, and
mm,
yeah, which we didn't talk about yet, but it's like still that's such an amazing gimmick too, and such a
yes,
like a visceral like image on the poster because it's like at some point you're going to see her just go ham with the machine gun leg, and you
and
don't,
she
yeah,
does.
yeah. And it's completely ridiculous, completely impractical. There's no way that she could legitimately fire that thing if in real life you were able to slam a gun on a leg. But El Rey is so badass enough that he can do that. Like he can
Yes.
finagle a machine gun to put on his ex-girlfriend's leg.
I
Yeah.
don't, it's the thing too. The scene first where she's like, "I've got no leg," because she's got just a stump there, and
Yeah.
he just like shoves like a wooden like a
A
post or
chair leg. Yeah.
the chair leg, and it's like, good God, like the woman's just been traumatized. You're gonna just shove the leg in the stump there? That's gonna hurt, you
Yeah.
know. And then later, basically, like they swap out the chair leg for the machine gun, and
Yeah.
havoc reigns.
Oh yeah, then I
And
just remembered too, like the ending too, where it's like
yes,
he
I was
never
gonna say that.
misses. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or well, no, when like she's pregnant with his kid, and like he the whole cornball like I never miss. And
I
then
never miss. Yeah. Yeah, because he basically that was his last shot there. He
yeah,
but no, but also in the last scene there too, where basically she upgraded her machine gun leg later on, where basically it's
yeah,
now a Gatling gun.
oh yeah, yeah. When she's on the horse and then just like the zombies are coming and then just yeah,
It's like, how is it turning, and where's the ammo coming from?
yeah, yeah, 100, yeah, yeah. There's no belt that feeds this thing or anything. It's like. It's not like the RoboCop TV series where Rodriguez thought the machine gun leg while stuck in traffic. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
That's great.
That is cool. But yeah, it's not
Oh,
like the RoboCop TV series where it explains how he makes the bullets. Like apparently there's a small nuclear factory inside of RoboCop
yeah.
that manufactures his bullets, according to the dumbass TV show. But
Yes, according to the TV show, yeah.
yeah. So somewhere
Oh,
in Rose McGowan's body, she's manufacturing the bullets for that gun. But
apparently so, yeah.
yeah.
And then another little side part too to talk about. Of course, Tarantino loves his like shared world and his fake products that pop up in there. You know, like the
Yep.
Big Kahuna burgers, Red Apple
Red Apple
cigarettes, whatever.
cigarettes. Yeah.
Well, another brand we don't talk about very often, but has popped up in multiple of his movies, is the Acuna Boys Mexican restaurants.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, we see a commercial for the Acuna Boys restaurant, and we see their nice, delectable meals they have there, various things. They're kind of the old school presentation. But the Acuna Boys is a reference to one of Tarantino's favorite Grindhouse movies, Rolling Thunder, because the bad guys that are run by James Best, aka Roscoe P. Coltrane, are basically, they call themselves the Acuna Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because they fancy themselves Tex-Mex basically. So they
Right.
so because basically the big showdown at the end of the movie takes place in a whorehouse in Mexico, which is like their usual hangout. So
Yeah.
but anyway, so yeah, because the Acuna Boys pops up in Jackie Brown. It pops up again in Death Proof as well, because that's one of the restaurants they go to before they go to the bar.
Right.
With the jukebox, which by the way, the jukebox had a name. The name of the jukebox is Amy.
I did not know that.
Yes, yeah, that is basically that's. I don't think that's the name of the bar. They changed for the name for the movie, but that is there's no way they could have faked that, but that is a real bar. That is a real jukebox, and those songs are probably on said jukebox.
That is cool.
Yeah, and also another difference too. The soundtrack for Tarantino's movie is very on point for Tarantino because it's nothing but existing music from either scores from other movies or songs from the past.
Right.
So it's a very on point kind of Tarantino's soundtrack too, which I love. There's some great songs on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, his soundtracks have always been good. Yeah.
Yeah, I had never heard of Dave D. Dozy, Mikey, Mickey Bitch, and Dave D. Dozy, Mickey, Mitch, and Titch.
Yeah, whatever the hell that was. Yeah, I remember what you're talking. Yeah,
Dave D. Dozy, Beaky, Mitch, and Titch. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And it basically, so there's a song "Hold Tight," which that was their big single. And one of the songs, that Chick Habit song that ends Death Proof. Or there's a Death Proof or end. Yeah, it ends. Yeah, the song that ends Death Proof is that Chick Habit song. So that's a cover. The Hey Mr. The Chick Magnet song. That's the Hey Mr. Chick Magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a cover. And who wrote that song originally? Serge Gainsborough.
Oh wow.
so that's a cover for Serge. It's like what? Yeah. So yeah, like the renowned French folk artist is like, this song's getting covered for Tarantino movies. There you go. You can't write this stuff, folks. I tell you what. Well, I think that unless you've got any other points that we didn't cover, I think that very much covers our retrospective on Grindhouse here.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I ain't got nothing else anyway. Yeah, I think we pretty much talked it to death.
I think we have. It was such a great viewing experience. I kind of almost want to get a DVD copy of just Death Proof, so I have that extra scene, the extra reel. Because of all the extra features that it's on this Blu-ray, that's one thing it's not on there.
Yeah, it's a great little set too. It's like I remember I had to get Wild and Woolly, which was a video store in Louisville. They imported a Japanese copy of Grindhouse on DVD that was the theatrical cut that I was able to get, but it had the special features they were all in Japanese, but it had the extra scenes on it too. But those were in English with subtitles and everything. Yeah, it was a pain in the butt to rip and like bootleg, or not that I ever did that from Wild and Woolly. But
exactly, yeah. But yeah, that's that was essentially how we got it until finally Blu-ray came. That was literally Blu-ray when I finally got was able to upgrade to, from DVD to Blu-ray. And I'm like, okay, that's my first Blu-ray I'm getting because it's the full experience for Grindhouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it in Walmart for the first time, and it was like $10 for Grindhouse. Yoink.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, V.
Thank you, V.
Always being on here, Gab. I appreciate that, dude. And you get a too sweet on the way out. Yeah. And thank you guys. Of course, this is episode 30 of this season here. So we're
wow.
Yeah, I know. So I haven't figured out how many episodes, like since basically the changeover where you and I are doing the show together now, how we've done together. But yeah, for season 3, this is episode 30. So.
Oh wow, dang. Go on.
I know. Yeah.
I know I haven't been here for all of them, but yeah.
You've been here for at least half, if not more. So there you go.
Oh yeah. I'm still averaging more than half. Yeah, I know that, but yeah.
Yeah, and I probably should have started season 4 with the new year, but So we'll go with whenever Chinese New Year. Or actually, no, Chinese New Year already happened too. Okay. Well, we'll have to figure out whenever the next season starts. But
we'll figure it out. Yeah.
No one's paying attention to that stuff anyway.
Right. So, we can just say this is like season 3, part 2 or something. Yeah.
There you go. Supplementary season. So
exactly.
All right, sir. Well, you have yourself a lovely weekend. Thank you once again.
You're very welcome. Thank you, sir. And I will probably talk to you tomorrow night, I'm sure.
Oh yes, yeah. We got some Collision to watch. There is just Collision tomorrow. We don't have anything else going on.
No, yeah, I think it's just Collision. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We've had so many like double booked wrestling weekends. Like, there's a pay-per-view, and also this show is on. And
yeah. There's one of them coming up. I think it's the one in one of the Saturday Night Main events in July, where Eric and I are already talking about getting like 2 TVs down here. Where it's like, so it's like we can watch main event and the AEW pay-per-view.
Nice. Simulcasting it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, love it. All right. Well, folks, thank you all for tuning in as well. We appreciate you guys. Of course, we appreciate V, Diamond Dave, and Bradley, and everybody else who's chiming in as well.
Yes,
so thank you all very much. Of course, don't forget to share this with your friends, grow the audience, grow the family, because the Fanatic Forum is the place for geeks and the place to let your freak flag fly, because that's what we do every week here.
Exactly.
Anyway, and of course, you can't forget my brother from another mother, his show, Smokes and Road Beers, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays, Facebook and Rumble.
If we're not kicked off of Facebook like we got last night.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of a bummer move there.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly which copyright we infringed, but we infringed either a WWE copyright or a Marvel copyright. So, yeah.
And I love it. It's like, you guys we play trailers on here. We talk about stuff like how my shows never get dinged and you guys get dinged all the time.
Yeah, I do not understand. It's not like we're showing trailers. We're showing like promotional packages that WWE has put out. It's I don't get it, but yeah.
Go home, Facebook. You're drunk.
Exactly.
All right. Well, enough of the shenanigans, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in here. You all have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time on the Fanatic Forum. TTFN.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams, we had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals, and we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a 1-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, we can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, we are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Troops, and overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.